Alright, the surprise piece to this puzzle is this Holley strip dominator intake manifold. I really went back and forth if I was going to try it or not, and decided to go ahead and order it. Basically, I knew this intake would make more horsepower. Roughly makes about 10 to 14 more horsepower than a than a Victor Junior intake. Makes about the same horsepower as a Super Victor intake. The advantage of it is this larger plenum that helps make more horsepower. You do give up a little bit of torque, but really not much of anything when you're going from another single plane intake, and that's what we were doing. So it was either run the Victor Junior or run this strip dominator, and the real reason why I was contemplating it to do it or not do it is hood clearance. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make this clear or not, because it does stand up pretty high. Measuring it, it's 3/4 of an inch taller than this Victor Junior over here. It looks like I have the 3/4 of an inch clearance. It's going to be close, but I don't think I'm going to have a problem. So went ahead and ordered it. I've got to do a little bit of porting on it, not much. Really all I'm going to do is open this up a little bit in here and kind of knock some of the flasking off. The runners themselves at the gasket side do need raised a bit. The port's not quite long enough this way, top to bottom. So I do need to open that up a little bit, but kind of a sneak peek of what it's going to look like. We got the oil pan on, and the intake's just sitting on there for kind of fitment. Give me an idea of what the ports are looking like. So got it just test fitted for tonight. Took a couple measurements, and it does look like it's going to clear. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I know this intake will make the most power, so why not go for the intake that's going to make a little bit more power. Either way, we're going to be over our 550 horsepower goal, but I know this one's just going to help that much more. If I was a betting man, I would say this engine's probably going to make right around 570 to 575 horsepower. I'm normally pretty good at my guesstimates on that, so that's going to be my guesstimate. It's an educated guess, but it's going to be really, really close to that. But I think we could have done it with the Victor Junior. Well, I know we could have made 550 with the Victor Junior, but again, I just didn't want to give up that, 10 to 12 horsepower. When this intake's about $260, I can sell that intake for $150. It was one I had laying around, so that's the way I'm looking at it. Is I'll probably end up selling that Victor Junior, use this intake. I'll make 10 to 14, 15 more horsepower. That only cost me $110, $120, so makes sense. The only reason, like I said, I was gonna go with this one is because of the hood clearance, and it really looks like I'll be just fine. But these Victor Juniors are a really good intake, especially when hood clearance is an issue. It's the best single plane intake for low hood clearance applications. But I've got a 2.5 inch cowl hood on the car, and I think that's going to be just enough to make this intake work and give us a little bit more power. But I'll update you guys. I just opened this thing up out of the box and set it on there. I'll update you guys as I go along and kind of let you know how the final fitment came out and how a little bit of the cleanup work went on it. But that'll be it for tonight, and hopefully this helps some guys. Thanks.